What's going on, Jerome's? As of right now, the Minnesota Vikings have requested interviews with 8 head coaching candidates. No, that does not mean that they are done. No, that does not mean guys like Doug Peterson are ruled out, because you don't have to request to interview a guy who doesn't have a job. Woo! All right, but we're going to go through and rank the candidates that the Vikings have requested interviews from. They include 3 former head coaches, Todd Bowles, Dan Quinn, and Raheem Morris, and we'll rank them based on nothing more than personal preference. I mean, that really is about it. So we'll get into why we rank them where we did. And yes, this is not the rankings as of currently. This is just, it's whatever. So zoom in and enhance. Just technology and stuff. So what are we going to do? How are we going to accomplish this? So, well, let's start off at the bottom. All right, so that would be easiest. Now, we have said many times on here that I respected Kellen Mond, but I think that he is a couple years away. I think he does need some more seasoning. I think that his development as a play caller is still kind of suspect, and that was even before the debacle that the Cowboys had against the Niners in the wild card round. So, I mean, that's whatever there. He's only 33. He's only a couple years removed from playing, for God's sake. So I think that Kellen Moore eventually will be a head coach, and maybe we'll be eating our words. But as of right now, I don't think that Moore is the guy that the Vikings need to be at the helm of the ship. Next up. Also, this is irregardless of who the hire is GM, because even though the GM head coach might be a package deal, as of right now, you don't know. We don't know at this stage. Next up, number 7. I'm going to go with Jonathan Gannon of the Eagles. Now, Gannon served as assistant DB coach here on the Vikings 2014-2017. He's worked his way up. DC of the Eagles, first time as the play calling defensive coordinator. Philly, right? And it doesn't always translate that, hey, you have the number 1 unit, you get the head coaching job. And the Eagles have been milquetoast for most of the season, where they have had their moments. Sure, they have had to deal with injuries, but Jonathan Gannon, I do think that he is a bright defensive mind. I think that you're going down the Brandon Staley type role. He is more of a quiet, reserved, introspective type head coach. And is that what the Vikings need right now? I mean, it certainly could work. It could. But I think that if we want to go down the road of another defensive-minded head coach, and we've talked about the drawbacks that could lead into that, where, hey, you're constantly losing OCs, but get the best leader, get the best guy. Is Jonathan Gannon that guy at this stage? I don't know. I don't know. Again, we're all for a youth movement, but you need to find that balance. It's like a dichotomy where you want youth and innovation, also you want veteran leadership. And just because you're young, just because you're old, doesn't mean that you're going to have either of them. So there you go. Next up, how are we going to do this? I am going to go with, I'm going to go with Todd. Todd. So Todd Bowles, phenomenal defense coordinator with the Buccaneers, formerly of Arizona as well, following Bruce Arians around. They go way back like chiropractic. He's head coach of the Jets for 4 seasons. Him and Mike McCagnon, not so much. But yeah, I blame that much more on just being the friggin' Jets, as opposed to Todd Bowles' leadership acumen. But at this stage, it's not so much a demerit on Bowles, and just same thing with Gannon and Moore. I just like a handful of candidates better than them at this stage. So we're going to roll with that. Next up, number 5. Who are we going to do? I have a good idea who's going to be 1, but who are we going to put at 5? All right, so we're going to put, KOC, Kevin O'Connell. Him and Monty Ossenford go way back as well, but O'Connell is seen as a great young up-and-coming guy, although you do have to parse out what is Sean McVay, what is the Rams OC, etc. But O'Connell has been bouncing around the league. He was Kirk Cousins' quarterback's coach of Washington back in the day, 36 years young. I think that he will eventually, a lot like Jonathan Gannon, a lot like Kellen Moore. I think that 3-4 years down the line, you could easily see them being a head coach. But is he what the Vikings needs right now? I don't know. But you have seen that the league has hit on a couple of these young guys stepping up. Sean McVay, Zach Taylor of the Bengals, 12-year-old boy, whatever. And then also Shanahan, of course, in San Francisco. So maybe they will take a shot. Maybe they'll get Kevin O'Connell on the Zoom and be like, hey, this is what we do with Sean McVay. This is what I can do with the Vikings offense. If you keep Kirk Cousins, this is what I can do with him. We, of course, know each other. Actually, you know what? You know what? I've convinced myself. I'm going to bump him up. I'm just going to make him 4. There you go. At 5, all right, I'm going to go DQ. Yeah, DQ soft serve. Dan Quinn, where he is going to be in demand, and also I respect him as a head coach, but I think that there's too much baggage from 28-3, where you saw that the Eagles, and I think he was head coach of the Eagles for 4 more seasons after that. They never won another playoff game. No, they did win a playoff game. No, they didn't. Wait, they did. Yes, they did. They won 1 playoff game, and then they lost to the Eagles in the divisional round 2017. Nailed it. But it was just never the same. And Atlanta, Dimitroff, even Matt Ryan, it was just a death spiral, right? And Dan Quinn, he's a phenomenal defense coordinator. You saw what he did with the Cowboys this season, but I don't know, man. Like, I again, this is maybe irrational, but 0-4 in the Super Bowl Vikings with the head coach who went 28-3, just blew that, losing 34-28. I don't know. I don't know if we can do that. Yeah, I don't know. Into the top 3. All right, so we're going to go. We're going to go Raheem Morris at 3. So there you go. Defense coordinator of the Rams. Been doing some good things. Of course, it's easy to do good things when you have Aaron friggin' Donald and Von Miller and Jalen Ramsey, but whatever. Former head coach of the Bucks, 2009 to 2011, was also interim head coach of the Falcons last season. Beat the Vikings' ass in his first game as interim head coach with Atlanta last year after taking over from Dan Quinn, who was fired. He's got all the respect in the world from high-placed head coaches as well as great players like Jalen Ramsey. And Jalen Ramsey doesn't get along with many coaches, man, as we've seen. But yeah, Raheem Morris, I think that he's a player's coach. I think that he'll immediately get the respect of the locker room. I think that he would be a slam dunk hire if the Vikings do go down this route. And like I said, any of these names, I'm fine with. I do have some hesitation on Kellen Moore, but other than that, like any way they want it, that's the way you need it. I'm ready to rally, man. That's right. Into the top 2. So this is going to be controversial. I understand Nathaniel Hackett, greasy, grimy Green Bay Packers, Packer fans. Oh, you got to take our coaches, huh? And it's hard to distinguish what Hackett does versus Aaron Rodgers versus a 12-year-old boy, etc. But I always point out that Nathaniel Hackett has had success away from Green Bay. You look at the Jaguars going to the AFC title game with Blake Bortles as their freaking quarterback. Leonard Fournette doing some good things. Allen Robinson was down there at the time. So yeah, I do respect his acumen there. I think that he has been praised as a teacher of football, which is great. Can he command a locker room? Can he do X, Y, Z? Can he be a true leader of men? TBD. How is he going to be implementing his very own system? Even though he's been a play calling offense coordinator before at Buffalo as well as in Jacksonville. But yeah, I think that if we're going to go with a young offensive mind, Hackett only 42, I think that could be the way to go. You just mind meld them together with your next future franchise quarterback. Maybe it's Kirk Cousins, maybe not. Lastly, Dominic Ryan. Dominic Ryan is a guy for me, 37 years young, Niners defense coordinator, taking over for Rob Saleh this year. Niners defense is humming. They had a great game against stupid Dallas. Hey, Kellen Moore, how'd that game work out? But Dominic Ryan, former captain linebacker of the Texans, also spent some time with the Eagles. For me, you see how people react to leadership, and D'Amico Ryans is that. You hear every Niners player, you hear every Texans teammate, you hear everyone who's ever come across D'Amico Ryans. You hear Kyle Shanahan talking about D'Amico as well. He is a true blue leader of men, and we've used this analogy before. It's like, well, D'Amico Ryans only has 1 year defense coordinator experience, but hey, we've said just because you're good at calling plays on one side of the ball doesn't mean that you're cut out to be a head coach. No, you need to be a true leader. You need to be a manager of the game, manager of your people, a manager of the locker room. And like I said, we've used this analogy before. Mike Tomlin was a defense coordinator for 1 year. 1 year. He went from Buccaneers defensive backs coach to Vikings DC for 1 year, 2006, and he got the Steelers job, and he's one of the greatest head coaches in NFL history. So I think D'Amico Ryans could follow a similar path, where cream rises to the top. Cream. All right, so in a time where young guys are getting coaching jobs all around the league, the fact that if you're a coordinator for 15, 20 years, you don't get a head coaching shot until your late 50s, maybe that says a little bit more about you. I don't know. But for me, if you want leadership, if you want no nonsense, if you want a guy that the locker room is going to rally around, D'Amico Ryans. He's my number one choice right now. But like I said, anyone on this list, and this list isn't complete, by the way. I mean, they can still request interviews of Bieniemy, of Leftwich, of Josh McDaniels, who has a lot of free time right now, by the way. Doug, Vance Joseph, Vance Refrigeration, etc. So there you go. But as of 3:03 p.m. on Tuesday afternoon, this is my rankings for the Vikings head coaching candidates. What are your thoughts on the thoughts? Let us know in the comment section below. Who's your numero uno? Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.